This is a very important part of Professor Hélio Couto's lectures. He is talking here about the protocol he presents in the video, Biochemistry of Love, regarding effective relationships. And he says that even after sharing this protocol, he still hasn't observed results in people's lives. What is this protocol? The professor teaches how relationships can be successful or unsuccessful. He shows, I will make a brief observation here about the fundamental point that I have already brought up on our channel. He presents two situations in which relationships can begin. There are two paths to start. There is a slower path, which is the path of the hormone oxytocin. And there is the dopamine path, which is the faster path and the one that people usually use to start relationships. The oxytocin path he shows, which he will even say, it is the path through which a person can achieve longer lasting results so that the relationship lasts a lifetime. You know those relationships that last a lifetime? And there is the faster path, which is the path strictly through attraction, physical. You find the other person attractive, beautiful, both, and are interested in each other and start exclusively through physical attraction. This path, and they move on to contact with kisses and even sexual relations. This faster path, science shows that normally purete doesn't work out. This is what the professor teaches. In this protocol he presents in the video Biochemistry of Love. And he also mentions Dr. Ellen Fisher, who is the leading expert on the subject, the world's foremost expert on the subject. And we will talk in more detail here so you can better understand how this works in practice if you still haven't understood and are not getting good results in this area of your life. This is what he just talked about. The neurotransmitters are these two here. The main ones for us to understand in this analysis, which are oxytocin and dopamine. And how does this work? There is a path, this one of oxytocin. It is built when you start a relationship through mutual appreciation, through let's say, your genuine intention to know the other person deeply. This intention of yours to know the other person, to help the other person, to serve the other person, to give sincere compliments, and a few more things. This type of behavior at the beginning of the relationship, when you become interested in the other person's tastes, what they do, and you find it interesting, you start to appreciate the person internally, not just externally, just the physical attraction. You become interested in the other person's inner self and position yourself as someone who will add something to their life. This type of behavior, when it happens at the beginning, generates, that's how it's said, this neural pathway in the brain. And this releases the hormone called oxytocin. And this type of neuro association, when you establish this kind of relationship with the other person, makes this relationship last a lifetime. If you keep putting this into practice, this is that story of forming a relationship that lasts a lifetime. The full name of this hormone is known as the love hormone. It is a neurotransmitter, also known as the neuron of all. The love hormone and dopamine are already different. If you start a relationship solely through the path of physical attraction, you will release a greater amount of the hormone, dopamine, which is that hormone of reward. You are interested in something because it will give you some kind of reward, and this reward gives you pleasure, and this pleasure releases more dopamine, so it's a cycle. But there comes a certain moment when, if you use this dopamine path in the relationship, there comes a point where it stops. This blocks, especially for people who are not aware of this. It's something simple. It might seem complicated now, but after you study it more times, repeat it more times, you'll see that it's something simple. This dopamine path lasts approximately, there are some studies that say it can last from 6 months to 3 years, and it passes quickly. That's why relationships nowadays, most of them end quickly, because they start on this path. Now, it can vary, of course. This time can vary. Some people create, let's say, this circuit in the brain in an addictive way, as if it were an addiction. So she falls in love with a person, and the other person falls in love with her too. But one of the parts of this couple, let's suppose, the woman is interested in the person, and they stay together for 3 years. But at a certain point, since it followed the path of dopamine, the man loses interest in the woman. However, the woman is still interested, because in the woman's mind, sometimes she keeps creating fantasies in the sense of imagining that this person would be the ideal person for her. So, she creates a character in her mind, and that keeps generating this dopamine. She imagines, but the person no longer pays attention to her, doesn't respond to her. This person is not a companion, doesn't have any kind of giving towards her. It's a person who has become cold, etc. But she still keeps imagining as if that person were the perfect person. And this generates the feeling of attachment, because she wants to receive this reward. She wants the pleasure. And this becomes almost like an addiction. And the person becomes addicted to the other. So the other person doesn't even like her anymore. Let's say it went down this path. This path passes quickly, but the other side of the relationship remains in love, still liking and unable to end it. But the relationship is over. Now, if this situation started through the path of oxytocin, and both know how it works, it extends throughout their entire life. And there's more. There are studies that show that for this harmony of mutual appreciation to happen more successfully, there needs to be harmony between the couples. What kind of harmony? They need to be in sync. The wave of one couple has to be similar to the other. Everything reminds us that everything vibrates, everything has a frequency. So if you have certain knowledge about a subject, if you study spirituality, subconscious reprogramming, you like to study prosperity, you want to grow, and the other side doesn't do that. The other person is different from you. They don't study, don't like to study, don't like spirituality, don't want to evolve, don't want to grow. She wants to stay in that comfort zone, in that way. And usually, people who are like that are very difficult to change. The person who already has this mental program in their subconscious. Remember that we talk about this? So you are a person who likes to study and so on. You want to grow and continue evolving. And the other person doesn't have the same vibrational signature as you, because they don't follow this vibration. They are on a different vibration. It's as if it were a different radio station from yours. So you are on different waves, on different frequencies. And when you talk to this person, you won't have that mutual appreciation at this point. And it will be very difficult for this couple to continue. There can be exceptions, right? To just go through the motions if a couple is so-so, right? Mediocre, measured as neither very good nor very bad. It's a so-so situation, just going through the motions. They set up a business in the marriage relationship. Now they have a house, a car, a business. They are partners. So they just go through the motions because it's working out. More or less, right? As the professor says, it's only this working in a more satisfactory way. Both need to have mental similarities. intellectual similarities, emotional similarities. How does this work? I've already mentioned, let's suppose here, right? You are interested in topics of spirituality, growth, prosperity, improving relationships, and your boyfriend or husband is not. This type of the situation will create what is called difference in momentum and position. Momentum is speed in physics. You are growing at a speed, let's say, of 100 kilometers per hour in the area of prosperity and spirituality. Your boyfriend or husband is stagnant, not growing. In other words, you were in a position close to this relationship of yours. You met, got involved, and now you were close. But you continued growing in this intellectual, emotional department because everything is one thing. But let's assume intellectual, you are growing. So you are at 100 kilometers per hour, your growth speed, and now you are at a distance of 200 km away. And your partner remained here stagnant and is not growing. What happens? At this point, you are in momentum and position. Momentum is the speed and position is where you are in a certain matter. This is related to your vibration in this matter. Now, you are on different frequencies. How are you going to have harmony in something that is now not harmonious? That's why it's important for you to understand this. Because both need to grow together in the same direction, on the same path. Not that you have to be exactly the same. That's not what I'm saying here, but what experiments, science, the biochemistry of love show is that if you like something, like spirituality, for example, I'll talk about this subject, and your partner also likes it, and you both are studying this subject, and both are growing, and both are evolving, and you sit down for dinner and talk. You are excited about the growth in this area and so on. You work on similar things, or if you are working on different things, different projects, but you support each other in your projects. In other words, you walk in harmony. And if you started on the path of oxytocin, and you are still walking in harmony at the position and speed, which is the moment the professor says this marriage will work for a lifetime. It's what the professor says, that this marriage will last a lifetime. I will show more details here for you to better understand. Let's see here. Just said for the rest of life. The marriage, the relationship will last for the rest of life. Because you followed this protocol. And those who follow this protocol have a much higher probability that this will be successful now. Because the professor said that there are no people. He hasn't seen results. 0 results among people because people are not following this. Here, on the channel itself, we see many questions. People send messages, etc. And it's hard to understand this because it's really not the easiest path. But if you want, how many divorces, how many separations? It's the same, the professor says. Right. If you don't understand this, it will become more complicated. The situation, if you follow a different path. I see many people on the channel here confirming that it is this way. A relationship starts. And it started very well in love and so on. But after a while, people, if it's one for headed in different directions. And nowadays, after 4, 5, 10, 20 years, when they meet, there's no more dialogue, no more harmony between the couple. And how can you sustain such a situation? After 20 years, you have grown. This touch imposed for different positions at different speeds. They are in different places. Your minds are different. They are different. How is this going to work? It won't work. It's very difficult. Only if you keep pushing it. As they say, right? Keep pushing. Keep postponing. Staying in the comfort zone, the relationship. So you keep procrastinating too, even to end it. But is there a way to solve it? If it's different, it's just about understanding this. putting it into practice, and the couple supporting each other again. And they can even change this initial war path. If it started with dopamine, it can be changed to the oxytocin path. But you need to have this knowledge and put it into practice. It's not something very simple to do, but it is possible. It's much simpler if you put this protocol that the professor mentions into practice. This video here is shorter. It won't be possible to explain everything exactly because it's a complex, controversial subject. People question it a lot. Many don't like it. So we are going to bring here a step-by-step guide, a piece here, another piece there. We will be assembling this puzzle because it is truly a subject complicated. If it were that simple, it would have already been resolved. And the professor in this video here, the second quantum mechanics class, he says that even by teaching the protocol, even with science already proving it, the results are zero because people don't want to go down this path. They feel attracted to the other person and they like it. They feel that passion, that burning passion. The dopamine is bubbling in the person's blood and brain. They feel it and experience pleasure and such, and they fall in love and kiss. So people prefer to go down this path, which is the easier path. Now, going down the path of talking, having a dialogue, getting to know each other by conversing and seeing if they are similar, if they are compatible, if the intellect is compatible emotionally, what they do, what their projects are, their goals, beliefs, philosophy. The beliefs determined at various points in life, you just need to list the points. Then, what the person thinks about spirituality, about money, about work, about relationships. Keep listing. See what movies they watch, what types of TV shows, internet, what they do in their free time, what hobbies, what they read. Observe everything, the person's life. Look into where they studied, where they lived, how their parents behaves in certain matters, what kind of education they received, the values, principles, all these points. Keep analyzing. Then you will see if you will have harmony and if you will have a higher possibility of success in the future. It's a more complex path, but that's how it works. Do you want to have a successful relationship? Follow the protocol. Follow this recipe that the professor mentioned. Follow the recipe, and you will have a lifelong relationship. For your entire life, both of you will grow, will continue to be in love for your whole life, will love each other more and more, will help each other more and more, will grow, continue growing, prosper, will evolve, and it will be something wonderful. But there must be this harmony, and both must continue growing on this path. If not on this path, then you know that you are trying to go by what is called trial and error. You try once, try twice, try 3 times, try 10 times, try 50 times. And that's how you do science. When you don't want to follow the protocol, you try, fail, try, fail, try, fail. You do it 1,000 times like Thomas Edison did to discover the light bulb. No one had taught him how to make a light bulb. So he tried 1,000 times and managed to make the light bulb. Try many times, and maybe you will succeed too. But the path that works has already been explained by the professor in his video, which is called Biochemistry of Love. This video by the professor here is called the second lesson of mechanics. Quantum and harmonic resonance. What can be achieved with harmonic resonance? It's on his website that I already mentioned, curso.helio.com.br. Now, for the couple, if the couple wants to grow together using a technological tool that will help a lot, just use my tool, which is called mental resonance, the most powerful tool for subconscious reprogramming. If the couple uses my tool together, they will grow for many, many years because they will become interested in similar subjects. If one side of the couple is not using the tool with you, it will be a little complicated because you will grow, you will evolve, and remember, you will drift away from the person, and this can cause disharmony. If you don't want to grow in life, you don't use it, but if you use it, you will grow. So, link here in the description. If you want to know more about my tool, thank you very much for your presence and see you in the next video.